The next Ten Hag, they said a bold Dutch manager coming from the Eredivisie to the Premier League would never be successful. They called him David Moyes. They said after Jurgen Klopp left in the summer, it would be a similar hole to what Sir Alex left at United, and that someone like Arne Slot was not capable of filling that void. You even had Arsenal fans comparing it to the transition that Arsenal had from Wenger to Unai Emery, but I'm sorry, Arne Slot is just different. In just 3 months in charge, he's managed to get Liverpool back where they belong, top of the Premier League, 5 points clear of Manchester City, top of the Champions League as well, leading all teams in Europe in a new and revised Champions League group phase, and he's also in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals and looking to retain that trophy. But just how has he managed to achieve all this in just 3 months? Well, I'll explain that in a second. We're gonna get into that in this video, but before we get into that, guys, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and also turn on post notifications so you're notified when I upload. One name, Bob Paisley. See, when they were comparing Arne Slot to the likes of Emery and David Moyes, one thing they forgot is how Wenger had Arsenal looking before Emery took over. They were an absolute shambles. They weren't even in the Champions League. And even though Sir Alex did win a league title in the year before he left, I mean, that squad was aging. The likes of Rio Ferdinand, above 30. Vidic was on his last leg. Scholes left the same year as the manager, and so did the chairman, the CEO, David Gill. So it was so disingenuous to compare it to Jurgen Klopp, what Jurgen Klopp left for Arne Slot at Liverpool. Immediately you look at the squad, 4 world-class players, Alisson, Van Dijk, Salah, Trent, all at the peak of their powers. And then you've got good supplementary pieces in the likes of McAllister, someone like Luis Diaz. You've got good young players in the likes of Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, and that's without me mentioning the likes of Michael Edwards, who we already know what he did at the club in his first stint. Completely revitalized the club, and he's back. So listen, the club was left in healthy hands, so you cannot compare it. It was so disingenuous to compare it to the likes of Emery and David Moyes. Who I'd compare it to is Bob Paisley. If you look at Liverpool's history, Bill Shankly was the man who built the club, like Jurgen Klopp. He was the charismatic, larger-than-life figure that brought the club back to the top. But you look at Bob Paisley, who he left the club to, he actually won more. He actually ended up winning more than Bill Shankly. And so far, if you look at Arne Slot's tenure, that's what I think he's emulating at Liverpool, because you look at Arne Slot, he's quiet. He's like Bob Paisley. He's not really this outspoken figure like Jurgen Klopp. He's good at the media, don't get me wrong, but he's not going to be giving you them one-liners like, oh, I'm the norm one or stuff like that. Like, he's not going to be doing it. But where he thrives is player profiling, player development. We've already seen it this season. Like, how many players has he improved in his 3 months at the club so far? You look at Ryan Gravenberch, he's literally the perfect example of this, because if you look at his career over the past couple of years, it's kind of stalled. That season at Bayern wasn't really the best. He didn't really play that much, and last season he did play a bit more, but it was mainly in the cups, in the Carabao Cup, and also the Europa League. Like in the Premier League, he wasn't really a mainstay like that. Fast forward to this year though, he is literally one of the main men in the team. He started every single Premier League and Champions League game. He's only one of 4 players to do that: Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, and Mohamed Salah. And I already mentioned earlier, those guys are world-class players. They are literally the pillars of the team, the most experienced players. So Ryan Gravenberch to be swimming amongst them, bro, that just says a lot. And move on to Diaz, who scored already 9 goals this season. He's only 4 goals away from matching his tally of last year. He scored 13 goals last year in 51 appearances. This season, in only 16 games, he scored 9 goals. You can clearly see the improvement. Konate was injury prone throughout the majority of his Liverpool career. This is probably the most sustained period that he stayed fit throughout his Liverpool career. People might say that's coincidence or whatever, but Arne Slot did bring a performance coach with him to the club.
Performance coach Ruben Peters, which is for me just as important as an assistant manager, because performance side is getting more and more important in football, in my opinion, as well.
So listen, you could attribute a lot of that success to Arne Slot. And you look at Cody Gakpo, who under Jurgen Klopp, he was mainly played as a striker, as a centre forward. He even played in midfield, but he was rarely used on his preferred position, on that left hand side. Arne Slot has come in and immediately said, this is a left winger, like, you're playing on a left wing. We saw what you've done in the Euros, you're going to replicate that at Liverpool, and he's been amazing. I can keep going. You look at someone like Virgil van Dijk, his time at the club has been amazing. It's been unbelievable, but one criticism about him was that he wasn't aggressive enough in his duels or with his passing. But you look at it this season, he's stepping up, tackling guys in their own half, literally done it against Aston Villa the other day. And then you look at his under-ball qualities, the patience, the pulsar that he's displaying, like, it's completely different to what we've seen. He's always had that big switch to Salah, but this season we're seeing him break lines with his pass, and for me, a lot of that is down to Arne Slot's tactics and how he's implemented. And as I said earlier, he's done all of this in only 3 months, and without a proper pre-season, because if you look at it, we had the Copa America last summer, and there was the Euros too, so a lot of these first team players, they didn't really come back until, what, 10 days before the season started, so that's not enough time to implement your tactics properly. So listen, this isn't even final form yet. Once Arne Slot manages to get his tactics and implement his tactics properly into the players, we're going to see a completely different Liverpool team, bro. We're going to go up a level. Saying that though, even tactically, we have seen Arne Slot's fingerprints all over this Liverpool side. You look look at Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, they were mainly playing a 4-3-3 throughout his majority of the time at the club. Arne Slot has changed it. He's gone to a more of a 4-2-3-1. And the build-up structure, if you look at the build-up, the way we build up, it's completely different. Most teams around Europe nowadays, they build up with a 3 at the back, a 3-2-5 or 3-1 structure. 3-2-5 we've seen Maresca or even Arsenal use it. And the 3-1-6 we've seen Ten Hag use it when he was at United, or even Pep Guardiola deploying it this season. But Arne Slot's build-up is different to that. It's mainly the back 4, the 2 pivot players and the keeper that are in charge of the first phase, that are in charge of the build-up. The back 4 mainly stay in their shapes, the wingers stay high and wide, pinning the opposition fullbacks back. And the striker, we have seen the striker being utilised differently. Mainly when Jota's there, we saw him drop in on the left side, Szoboszlai on the right side, trying to find spaces outside the opposition midfield to receive the ball and play forward. Gravenberch has been a cheat code. He's literally been a revelation in this structure. How many times have we seen him getting the ball off Van Dijk, pass goes into him from Van Dijk, and he just turns. He used that change of direction he has, the agility he has to turn under pressure, to turn away from his marker and play forward. And now we've gone from build up to settled possession. In settled possession though, even though I said earlier that the formation is mainly a 4-2-3-1, it can at times resemble a 4-3-3 when Liverpool are on the ball. So at times in the Milan game and also the game recently against Aston Villa, we have seen McAllister drifting out to the left to receive the ball. Szoboszlai, it was Szoboszlai in the Milan game drifting out right, or even Jones in the Aston Villa game. So he's very fluid and adaptable. So what we can learn about this is that even though Arne Slot hasn't had that much time, he's only had 3 months, didn't have a preseason with most of his first team players, he has still managed to get some of his ideas across. The one area though tactically that I've seen that probably has been the biggest weakness is the press, when Liverpool press. So unlike Jurgen Klopp's press where his front 3 were in charge of squeezing and applying pressure to the opposition, like his predecessor Klopp, Slot also likes to deploy an aggressive pressing style to win the ball back in dangerous areas and disrupt the opponent's build-up play. And the structure Slot's used so far has been similar to his build-up structure, in that the back 4 stay deep, the pivot players man the central zones, and the rest of the front 3 and the number 10 press their back line. However, we have seen teams exploit this, and the main ones that have really got success have been Chelsea and Arsenal. How Chelsea done it was actually really clever, because Jones in that double pivot, he was playing in a double pivot along with Gravenberch, and his job was essentially to stop Palmer, to disrupt Palmer's game, to stop him from getting on the ball and running the game for Chelsea. So what Maresca asked Palmer to do is drift wide, stay wide when Chelsea have the ball. And Jones, of course, under Slot's instructions, followed him. So that created a huge gap between Liverpool's 2 pivot players, between Gravenberch and Jones. And then Chelsea kept getting in. Either Caicedo or Lavia just started walking into that space, easy pass from the centre-backs to find them, and they were away. And if you look at it, that's literally where Chelsea's goal came from, so it clearly worked. Arsenal then saw that and did something similar. They started off in a formation of a 4-4-2, that then went into a 3-2-5 when they had the ball, with Partey inverting from right back. Saka then stayed wide, pinning Robertson back, and then Havertz, who was the 9, who was playing in that front 2 with Trossard, he actually started drifting wide onto that right hand side. And what that done is that gave Robertson a conundrum, because it was literally 2v1. Either he had to stay wide with Saka and let Havertz have the freedom to collect the ball easily outside of our midfield, or he had to be aggressive and press high onto Havertz and then leave Saka to running behind, and he was not doing that after being skinned for the first goal. So it was Macca's job. McAllister then followed him and tried to stop him from getting on the ball. What that done again though is created a huge gap, because Macca was actually the pivot player, the left-sided pivot player, and that created a huge gap between Macca and Gravenberch. And then Trossard just kept on dropping in, either Trossard and Marino, whoever Gravenberch left free, they were essentially the free man. So again, it clearly worked. However, even though our press was, let's face it, dismantled in those games, they didn't really, like Arsenal and Chelsea didn't really create that many clear-cut chances. And that's mainly due for me to the fact that our midfield might have gaps in it, but our back 4 mainly stays rigid and compact, and teams can't really play through that. Because if you look at previously under Jurgen Klopp, like he would tell Trent Alexander-Arnold to press high onto the opposition fullbacks, and then that would leave a huge gap for Konate to cover. However, this season we're not seeing that. It sounds crazy, but it's literally just the basic formula. Like, less numbers, you commit less numbers to the forward press, there's more numbers to defend if your press is broken. That then leads to less chances to the opposition, because let's be honest, 1v1 or even 2v1, Konate versus Van Dijk versus a striker, they're destroying him. Liverpool then concede less goals, they end up staying in matches, and then that leads to more wins. Because if you look at last season, how many games, even though Liverpool scored a lot of goals, how many games did we concede the first goal? It was getting ridiculous at times. Whereas this season, in 11 Premier League games, we've only conceded 6 goals, and that's without our main starting goalkeeper, the best goalkeeper in the world. Kelleher's a backup goalkeeper, but he hasn't made a difference. And we've still got those attackers from last year. We've still got that inevitable attack. So if we stay in games, we have more of a chance of winning games. If the game is 0-0 at half time, who's more likely to score? Mohamed Salah or someone like Leon Bailey? When you actually take it in, bro, it makes sense. Like, Arne Slot's a smart guy. He's really utilising the weapons that Klopp left him. If you look at it, Klopp's aggressive, attacking, aggressive style of play, those deadly transitions, mixed with Slot's patient possession style, it's literally a dangerous combination. And we've seen previously that it works. Like when a team inherits a combination from like one attribute from one manager and another attribute from one manager, you combine the two, bro, it's a perfect mix, because we saw it with Everton in the 13-14 season. David Moyes left that summer to Manchester United, but what he left the next manager is that back four: Leighton Baines, Seamus Coleman, Jagielka, John Stones, Tim Howard. Like those guys were a solid back four. Like the defense was there. Then Roberto Martinez came in, who just done well at Wigan. He was playing that possession football, so he added that possession football with that defense. It was a match made in heaven, bro. They nearly got top 4 there. So Liverpool are in a good place. However, one thing I will say though is we still need to make signings in January. I mean, if you look at it right now, Liverpool are top of the league, 5 points clear of Manchester City. Liverpool need to capitalise on this position, because if you look at the 2021 season, Liverpool also top of the league by the time January came around. But then after that, like a couple months later, they capitulate. We failed to strengthen in the January adequately. I mean, you look at, we signed the likes of Kabak, Ben Davies. These are not the type of signings you make when you're trying to win the league. Like Van Dijk was down, Matip was down, like all these centre backs were down. The FSG were still complacent. We cannot manage to do that this year. I'm sorry. Gravenberch, even though he's been unbelievable, McAllister as well, those guys cannot play every single game. We still need a bit of rotation in there. In my opinion, you add another body to that rotation, to that midfield rotation. Someone like Zubimendi or even Tchouameni, we're hearing links of him near an exit at Real Madrid. Add those guys to the midfield dynamic, and then you've got a hell of a team, because then you can rotate the likes of Jones, McAllister, Gravenberch, and then the new midfielder. Those 4 guys can rotate. 2 play 1 game in the Champions League, then they're rested, another 2 play in the Premier League. So then you can still fight for both competitions. However, if we don't strengthen and Gravenberch keeps on playing, he's going to get burnt out. Like we've seen in the past. I'm sorry, this is an opportunity, bro. We must strengthen. If we strengthen with the right players, with the right profiles, I genuinely believe we can win this Premier League. Because if you look at it, Man City, for me, people are still giving them Champions respect, but they are not the same Man City of last year. Arsenal, what are they? 9 points behind us right now. We are in a great position in not only the Premier League, but the Champions League as well. If you look at the landscape of European football, it's only really Barcelona that's on our level right now. Real Madrid, you look at Real Madrid, bro, how many injuries have they had in the centre-back position? Like, bro, we can beat these guys. So yeah, guys, that's the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed it, smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and turn on post notifications so you're notified when I upload. And without further ado,